I tell her the story and she's like, okay, well, your dad's a little bitch, and slams the door in my face. Well, I walked into my house one day and my mom was just bawling on the ground, and my dad was there comforting her, and she's talking about like, I can't believe I have stage 3 cancer, I'm gonna die, and we have no money to treat it. And my dad's saying, I'm so sorry, this is my fault, like this is all my fault, we have no money to get you the treatment you need. And they see that I'm there and they kind of compose themselves, get themselves together, and I was really confused. I was like, why don't we have money to treat mom? I mean, you guys have savings. I knew they had savings for a long time. So I was confused why we didn't have the money to treat her. And my dad begins to tell me this story of how basically, so his friend got a promotion at work, and so to celebrate, they went to the strip club. And just to preface this, my dad is a huge nerd. He's been with my mom since 7th grade. Like, he's never been with another woman. He doesn't get out much. He's just, works from home, is in business. So he's very just like keeps to himself. So this was his first time at a strip club, and he meets this stripper named Destiny, who basically was like saying how she doesn't want to strip anymore. She wanted to go to nursing school, and she has all these aspirations and dreams, but she doesn't know how to get there. She's in debt. So my dad, being the sucker that he is, agrees to help her. And at first it was small things, he helped on her rent a little bit here and there, helped her with groceries. And then of course it got bigger, like her brother needed to be bailed out of jail, and she has 2 kids from 2 different baby daddies that she needs to help be fed. So eventually it just accumulated and accumulated. She kept taking money from him, and he kept agreeing to help her. And eventually he, all in all, gave her $100,000 altogether. So all that money was out the window to this girl, Destiny. And I'm hearing this, and from a girl's perspective, I know she's playing my dad. And so I was pissed. So I decide that I want to meet this girl, see what the hell is up. He tells me that she lives in these like affordable houses. So I go there and I ask around if anyone knows who Destiny is. No one knows who she is. It's probably her fake stripper name anyways. So I go to the club and I sit outside and I wait until the club gets out, and I decide I'm gonna follow her home, or follow her and see what she does. And she gets out of the club and she gets into this beautiful Mercedes G-Wagon. And I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. At that point, I just knew that this was like, she was totally playing my dad. So I follow her, and of course she's living in this beautiful flat house, penthouse. And so I go up to the house, I knock on the door, and I'm like, hey, you know my dad. Like, you were taking this money from my dad, and we now don't have the money to pay for my mom's cancer. I tell her the story, and she's like, okay, well, your dad's a little bitch, and slams the door in my face. And so now I'm even more pissed because she didn't even have the decency to like hear me out. So I decide to find all the guys that she's banging or not banging and getting money from, and tell them what's really going on. And when I tell you, this girl was seeing so many different walks of life. I mean, okay, one of the guys was like this super frail old 80-year-old guy who literally needed a hearing aid to even hear what I was saying. Another one was like this 25-year-old tech guy who made his money in tech and literally was just a nerd. There was literally a priest that she was taking money from. So like just so many different men she was taking money from. And I just told them the whole story, and they would like agree not to give her money anymore. So eventually one day she comes knocking on my door, and I open it, and she's yelling at me, screaming at me, getting in my face. It was so scary. I had to take a step back, and I was like, well, you took all of our money, and we needed the money for my mom's cancer treatment, and now we don't have that. So that's where I'm coming from. So she's basically like, look, if you leave me alone, stop telling the guys I'm seeing about the whole shebang, I'll give you $50K. I don't have any more than $50K right now to give you because I just don't have the money, but I will give you $50K to help for your mother's treatment. And at that point, I was like, that's probably the most I'm gonna get out of this girl, because it doesn't seem like she has money coming in anymore, and $50K was better than nothing. So I agreed to take the $50K, and we got my mom treatment, and she was in remission, and she's doing great now, all because of that money. But it is just like a lesson to all those guys out there to like just know who you're seeing, really know the full story before you just start giving people money.